Hey everybody, welcome back to this old trike. Good morning. It's a new day, new me. Today I think we're gonna cover the topic of Hondaline fairings. So I've got a sampling here to show you, some extra stuff to go over, and I don't think this will take too long, but let me show you what we got. So what is a fairing? A fairing is basically a windshield with some integrated hand guards that surround your headlight. Some people call them windshields, windscreens, but I think the widely accepted name is fairing. You know, is this a fairing? No, that's a tank scoop or a radiator shroud if you have a liquid cooled 250R. The radiator shroud is accepted for that. But if you're talking with other Honda three-wheeler enthusiasts and one of them says, I've got a fairing on my 200S or my 250R, this is what they talk about. But I want to discuss today what is different between a fairing for a 200S, what's different between a fairing for a 110, 250R, or what have you. What machines came with fairings, which didn't, what time period was this, and things like that. So join me for this discussion. Okay, let's start this little conversation by going back in time and putting us in 1981 when this 250R was for sale on the showroom floor at your local Honda dealership, and you decide the regular 250R doesn't look cool enough. You know, you want to be cool like the California highway police officers in chips, and you want to get this fairing on the front of your 81 250R to increase the BA factor, if you know what I mean. So you order one from the Hondaline catalog. What else could a fairing have gone on? Well, let's ask what else was available in 1981. We know they made the ATC 200, and I believe, no, not in 81. The ATC 200 has the same triple tree as this guy. So actually, yes. Yes, you could have put this on a 1981 200 because I have this new in the package fairing kit. I don't want to open it just yet, but let's see if I can pull this down. May of 82. They were coming out with cool stuff. We just did a speedometer video yesterday, and those instructions were issued in May of 82. So ATC 185S, ATC 200. So 185S was available in 81. The 110 was available in 81, and I know they made kits to fit the 83, 84, 85 110. And I would say 125M, that should work for also. But most machines that they offered in 81, and 82 also, which would be very similar, could have a fairing put on. And this bracket here that I have, and so let me say this. The determination of what machines could have a fairing all depend on the bracketry. The fairings are all the same. So when you bought a kit, you got the bracket, which would be ordered based on what you have, and then you'd get this box, or the dealer would go to the back room and pull off the shelf a box that contained a fairing. What is this bracket? don't even remember what that is. So this is a new old stock fairing. Never been mounted. In this kit come the hand guards. Here's more hardware. Now, because I've put a fairing on my 200S over there, I think this looks familiar. Here's the gasket that goes around the inside. I believe this hardware is for, this is the gaskets for the windshield. I believe this hardware and that bracket are like the hardware we just looked at in that pouch. Here's the transparent windshield. And here is the black windshield. And here are the instructions. October of 81. So it shows you how to put the fairing together. It says this is for a 250R, but we know it would fit other things. The question that comes to my mind, and that says fairing, so we are correct in calling it a fairing. Was it designed for the 250R in 81, but by May of 82, they realized, well, shoot, if we just make different brackets for the different machines, this can be used on other machines? Possibly. We don't know. But this is what's inside the box. Well, now I want to put this away how it was. So the lower windscreen, like, is what is on my 83 250R here. It you could use this as a number plate. You know, put your, oh, come on, gimbal. Put your number right there. You know, it's not as high. You know, instead of coming up above the hand guards, it is pretty much in the same line. Are you really going to race with that thing on? Probably not. It was an interesting idea, but some people would say that these make the three-wheelers look worse. I think they're neat. I appreciate them. You know, they're so different that you don't usually see them. Especially blue ones. Let's talk about that right now. So, what are the blue Hondas? Obviously, 1970, 71 Aquarius blue US 90s. But that's a different type of blue, and that was a different time. And, you know, three-wheelers were just coming on the scene. You know, when your ad campaign is, what is it? You know, you obviously have a novel device or machine. But then they didn't make a blue Honda for a long time, until 1983. And what were the blue Hondas then? They made a blue 110, Superior Blue, and then they made what is known as the 1983 Honda ATC Christmas Special. Right or wrong, that's what they are known as. You say that and people know what you're talking about. Is a blue 110 a Christmas Special? No. Don't say that. Gosh, are you trying to get in a fight? What are you doing? So these are not Christmas Specials, and you can't put a blue fairing on a ATC 70. But apparently they wanted that option bad enough to mold blue fairings, which would only go on blue 110s, 1983, 1984. So how interesting is that? But shape and fitment, you could put that blue fairing on any of these machines, because they will, the fairing plastic will mount to the bracket just like anything else. You have mounting points here and down there. And the bracketry, all the bracketry is doing is positioning the fairing in the right spot so that your headlight will shine through as it needs to. And with this on a 110, doesn't this look weird? Imagine this setup without the fairing on it. The headlight is up and out a lot, and it looks silly without the fairing on it with these brackets on. So you have to take your factory mounting bracket for the headlight and put this bracket on. So this fairing system has additional bracketry to position that headlight where it needs to be. So you first put this on, and then you can put the bracket on. My good buddy Ben Roberts helped me mount this when I brought this machine home from Trike Fest. And this was, I tried and I tried. This was not a one-man job. And actually, I recorded video and never used it. So this will be a good time to show the video of me installing this fairing with my good buddy Ben Roberts. Watch that now. I'll be back in a minute. Well, look at this. It's a blue 110. So here's what I have to say about this. If you don't know what a Hondaline fairing is, this is a Hondaline fairing. And 99.9% of the time, and that's probably an accurate number, these are red. But this one was made to go with a blue 110. So there's only a handful of three-wheelers that were blue that Honda made. One is that 1983 ATC 70 over there. Then they made the 83, 84 ATC 110. And then they made a US 90 in blue, but it's an entirely different blue, Aquarius blue. But what we're going to do tonight is take this. I acquired this machine from a pretty awesome guy named Tyler, who delivered them to me, this and another blue one at Trike Fest, complete with the matching Hondaline ATC helmet. How cool is that? I don't get like super giddy about a lot of things. Well, maybe I do, I don't know. But I got super giddy over this. I'd seen Tyler's pictures of these two machines a number of times, and they came up for sale, and I couldn't message him fast enough. And it all worked out. So he took the fairing off so it was safe for transport. I'm going to put it back on. You might notice it's missing a little something there. It had the little black insert, and I decided I was gonna put the windshield portion on, which I have in this box. Tyler gave me a bunch of goodies in this box. One of the goodies was the windshield that goes on it. I did a little cleaning on this. This is kind of sticky, and it's all yucky, so I've already kind of clean that just a little bit. But what we're going to do tonight, we're going to put that helmet with my other helmets in the other room. We're going to put the windshield on that fairing, and we're going to put the fairing back on this machine. We have got the fairing installed. I said we because this thing was quite tricky and definitely not a job for a one person working in their shop. So you know what I had to do? I had to import some help from Pennsylvania. Mr. Benjamin Roberts here has come in. You might know Ben from previous videos where we ventured down to Pennsylvania to grab a couple 90s. But with his expertise, I was able to have a successful blue 110 fairing installation. The only one I've ever seen in person. The only one I've seen pictures of.
I haven't seen one.
I hope you enjoyed that. Ben's probably been waiting a year for that to come out. That was literally over a year ago. You'll probably notice I didn't have a beard in that video. So, with this machine, this did not require the headlight to be moved at all. which does kind of align with my theory that I just kind of came up with on the spot, that maybe the fairing was originally designed for 250R in 1981. And so this bracketry just mounts to the top triple here, the lower fork there. That's not the lower fork, but the lower portion of the upper fork. And it fit as intended with the 200S. So let's talk about this. The instructions we looked at in this bag, as you recall, from May of 82, mentioned ATC 200 and the 185S. The 200S didn't exist then, but the geometry of the fork is the same as those machines. So even though this didn't exist, we know that it's compatible. So that bracket, though it doesn't list it, will work on a 200S. So this fairing I got from my good buddy Jim a number of years ago. We traded for an ATC 70 carcass. He wanted it bad, and so I was happy to oblige. But this requires different brackets. These are not what come on a 200S. So you have to put these on first to orient the headlight where it needs to go. That is what's in this paper. Yeah, you can feel that. So once you get your headlight oriented, excuse me, spun around there quite a bit. This bracket just clamps on down here. That's the only mounting point in a 200S, 185S, ATC 200 application. And technically, this would fit a 1980 185, but they are orange. So I don't believe they made an orange fairing. So you'd have to paint your fairing if you want to do that, but probably won't do that. When it comes to the second gen 250R, your fairing clamps on the upper fork below the upper triple and above the lower triple. This came installed, so I don't know exactly, but it looks like the headlight mounting area is integrated right into the bracket. So you do lose the framework that goes around these. Do I have yeah. So this goes away. You put that on the shelf and lose it, and then so the next owner doesn't ever get it. But the headlights just have a rubber grommet that goes around that framework. So that goes away, and it mounts to your new fairing bracket. I don't believe I've ever seen a fairing on a third gen 250R or a 350X. The headlights don't lend themselves to meet that application. I have seen fairings on first gen 200Xs, and I don't know if the bracket is the same. It's got a different part number, but I don't know if it's the same as the second gen 250R. Obviously, the headlight, as we just showed on the other 250R, mounts differently. You've got a bracket back here. So it's similar. The headlight on a first gen 200X is similar in more ways to a headlight on a first gen 250R. So could it be possibly that a second gen 250R bracket would work, but would it interfere? I don't know. I'm on the hunt for one though. I like the idea of putting one on my 85. That is one of my nicest machines, and I think that new old stock fairing would look pretty nice on it. What else? PJ Hart had a fairing on a second gen 125M. I don't think there was a bracket for that application. He had it kind of rigged up there in a way that made it work, but it was not designed to do that, I don't believe. Mitch Rapucci, my good buddy Mitch, has that machine now. So I don't have any good pictures to show of it. So I have these 4 fairings mounted. I have the new old stock one that I just mentioned to you that I'd like to put on a 200X. And then I've got this one. I did some stuff for my buddy Toby, and he blessed me with this fairing, which is in good shape. Still got the windshield cleaning instructions. It's missing a couple of these mounting buttons, but I think they're very similar to like automotive, interior buttons. This has a crack that we can probably heat staple and make it fit better. It's missing the rubber. This rubber gasket goes in and around there. He said he had this on a first gen Big Red. And I don't know how. I don't know what these are from. I don't believe this aspect of this is Hondaline. I think he made it work, but we're missing some hardware. So this is an incomplete set. So let's talk about that. You're looking at a fairing advertised on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever the selling platform you're looking at. And it's this. And they want $500. I've got a Hondaline fairing, $500. So you need to know, here's what you need to know. This is incomplete. This is missing some stuff. What is it missing besides that bolt right there that I just noticed? It's missing. These are kind of a special bolt. Let's look at those. That's a big, fat, flathead, slotted bolt that goes through there that mounts with a lower mounting point. So that's kind of a special bolt. You're missing that. You're missing the rubber, as we described. You're missing any sort of actual bracket to mount this to a machine. If you find one of these on eBay, they're going for a couple $100 right now. And even with this, you've got to know that, does it have the gasket with it? Does it have these clamps? And let's see, it doesn't have the headlight adjustment portion. So if I'm going to put this on a 200S, which I think this goes to, I can't orient the headlight in the right spot. So that's no good. Here are those. No. This is the hardware for the bracket. I was looking for those big fat-headed bolts right there. Like, that would be a hard to find bolt. It's got a little shoulder on it. So hopefully in this video, you know, there's of the aspects of the system. This is one of 2 main components, and the subcomponent, the bracket, has components too. So you got to know those things to endeavor to do this. But what I'd like to do is to put this nice new old stock one on my 85 200X. What will I put this one on? I don't know. I do have this spare bracket. I've got that bracket that I would trade for a similar condition 200X fairing mounting bracket. This one's incomplete. I will be scouring the interwebs to try to find a bracket like that. What do you say? Let's close this out. But before I do, if you have any suggestions, like, should I put it on my nice 83 185S? This one, I don't think that's nice enough to go on that. Plus there's a rack on it. There's a rack on my 86 200S, which, now that I say that, the racks, as you can see here, have their own bracket to raise the headlight. So if you put something on the rack, the headlight is up out of the way, so there's no interference. Maybe that would fit. That would orient things correctly. But I already have a fairing on a 200S. So I don't think it's nice enough to go on this. That one has a rack with that headlight bracket also. I have so many things to think about, guys. I need your help. What would you guys do? Let's close this out. So that's what I have for you this morning. This is one of those pre-work videos. I might even edit this on my lunch hour and put it up for you guys. But just know that if you're looking to buy a Hondaline fairing, if it's not new old stock and everything in the box, you might need to consider what's missing and scrutinize what's available, what's being offered, and what you might have to track down. Because if somebody is asking top dollar just because they have a fairing, you might need to educate them politely and say, I understand that complete fairings are bringing what you're asking, but your fairing is not complete. You're missing this, this, and this. And they will react probably one of two ways. They'll say, oh, I didn't know that. I suppose you're right. How about this as a price? Or something like that. Or they'll say, whatever, go pound salt, get out of here, beat it. Those sorts of things. And then in a month, maybe they'll realize, or they'll find some sucker that doesn't realize that they have an incomplete fairing for sale, and that poor soul will discover it as they're trying to install it. It's just the way it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. I ramble sometimes. I apologize. Have a wonderful week. Get out and shop. Do some stuff. Let me know what you're working on. You can find me and ask questions on Instagram or Facebook. I like to respond or try to respond. I have two Facebook pages. One's a page, one is my personal profile. I'm on my personal profile a lot more than my page. And sometimes if you write me on my page, which is this old Trike ATC collection or something like that, if you write me there, sometimes I don't respond for a while. So, but if you write me on my personal account, which my profile picture is usually me and my lovely wife, I will respond quite timely. That's what I got for you. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.